What is going on, everybody? I hope everyone had an awesome trading day today. As you can tell, this is probably a different start to the videos than what you're used to. Mike is in the path of the hurricane, so prayers go out to Mike and his family, and of course, everybody that is in the path of this major hurricane. It's been causing a lot of destruction already, and I'm sure it's going to get even worse over the next day to 2 days. So let's keep this situation monitored. We're going to talk about a lot of stocks revolving around this situation as well. There's a few moving that we've already mentioned, like Generac, but there's even a couple more that could benefit that I'm going to mention in just a few minutes. But we have a lot to cover today. The SPY made brand new all-time highs. Tesla has their Robotaxi event tomorrow. Google had some pretty bad news today. And then the Fed minutes came out that kind of shed some light on what the Federal Reserve is thinking with the rate cuts. So let's go. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that like button first things first. But getting right into it here, the market made brand new all-time highs today. Like I said, it was awesome to see. Sound off in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are hyped up about this. The SPY ripped above 575, got pretty close to 578 at that high of day today, and you can just see how well it really broke out. Like this morning, it was pretty much a bull fest right from open. So that was good to see. But getting a little bit deeper into this hurricane situation here, Biden said Milton's looking like the storm of the century. We talked yesterday about how that was a possibility, and we're already seeing a lot of destruction coming from this. And of course, there's some stats over here, like they're saying that storm surge could end up getting to like 10 feet. So that could be pretty bad. And as we know, these winds are no joke right now. So really, prayers go out to everybody that is in the path of this hurricane. But there are a lot of stocks that could end up moving from this. We've talked a lot about Generac already. That one's, of course, a big beneficiary as generators are getting bought up by the tons right now, we'll say. And going forward, of course, the insurance companies are on watch too, like Progressive, Allstate, Travelers. You know, some of those insurance companies will definitely be on the radar as well. But there's even some other ones that were moving today. I saw CarMax, ticker symbol KMX, was actually moving a little bit as well, which surprised me. Another one is Carvana, CVNA. I saw some people saying that these stocks could maybe start to benefit from this. Now, Carvana's popping. CarMax is kind of falling off a little bit here, but you know, keep in mind, like as these vehicles start to maybe get flooded and the insurance payouts come in, people will be in the market for new cars. So that does make sense. That's just another sector to watch. But the hurricane is definitely still on watch here. Of course, be very careful if you are in the path. It looks like for the most part, you should be trying to get out of there if you are, you know, somewhere close to it on the coast or within that vicinity. But all right, with the hurricane stuff out of the way, time for the fun stuff, right? For tomorrow, Tesla has the Robotaxi event coming out. That's going to be a huge event. Everybody's waiting for this. I'm seeing that it's going to be happening around 7 p.m. Pacific time or 10 p.m. Eastern time. So keep that on watch. You know, it's happening on the West Coast, so we have to realize that. But Tesla's Robotaxi has gotten a lot of hype over the past few months. And looking at Tesla right now, it's kind of double topping in the short term, right around this 265 resistance, which has ended up holding up fantastically well here over the past couple weeks. Now, this event's going to be huge. You know, Tesla's kind of stuck in a little range right here. This event will probably be what really makes Tesla fall lower here towards the lower end of this range, maybe even back towards $200 over the next couple months if this event is very lackluster. Now, like, let's just say that this event gets some hype with it and Tesla starts breaking out. That recent high around 265 is definitely going to be on watch. And if we break that, we might be on a pretty clear shot towards that $300 mark. But this Robotaxi event is pretty interesting. I saw some leaks, or not some leaks, we'll call them rumors, right? There's a couple of rumors. People associated with the matter said it's going to have butterfly doors and be a two-seater for this new Robotaxi vehicle. I feel like that this actually looks pretty awesome right here. Looks almost like the Cybertruck mixed with like a Model X or something like that. I don't know, but I do like the way it looks. I think it could be very interesting. Musk did talk about people potentially letting the robotaxis work while they're not in use by the person who owns them. So I thought that that would be an interesting topic as well. And I did also see some stuff where Musk is set to talk about full self-driving with some of the semi-trucks, or at least he's expected to talk about it. So that could be huge. I mean, full self-driving for semi-trucks is insane. You know, of course, people might need to always be in the truck, but the need for trucking and truckers, for example, will definitely change as that starts to happen. I don't know. It's very interesting. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this Tesla Robotaxi event, and let me know what you think this is going to make Tesla do. I personally think it's going to make Tesla move quite a bit in either direction. I'm a little bit worried about it falling down. Sometimes Tesla can be a little bit lackluster with these events, and the stock dips a bit, but this one has been pretty hyped up, so hopefully Elon has this one in the bag. But one company that doesn't have things in the bag right now, so to say, is Google. Now, keep in mind, guys, Google is still a huge, huge company. They are fantastic. You know, they do a lot of stuff in the tech sector, the cloud. They're into all types of stuff, right? We know Google, they even have two different classes of shares. They have the Class A, which is GOOGL, and then they have GOOG, which is the Class C shares. You know, I'm not going to go into a whole story on what the difference is between them, but getting into really what made Google fall a lot today is that back in August, there was actually a district judge that ruled against them. So if we actually go to this article on AP News here, U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta ruled in August that Google search engine had been illegally exploiting the dominance of its search engine to squash competition and stifle innovation. He has outlined a timeline for a trial on the proposed remedies next spring and plans to issue a decision by August of 2025. Now, something that's very interesting to me is that Google actually plans to appeal this. Now, the big deal here is, keep in mind, they talked about the remedies, right? That's really what ended up coming out. So on Tuesday, they actually outlined a series of potential remedies that it may pursue, including restrictions on how Google's AI mines other websites to deliver search results, blocking Google from paying companies like Apple billions of dollars to annually ensure that Google is the default search engine presented to consumers on gadgets like iPhones. That'll be huge there, you know, blocking them from paying to be the bigger search engine will be huge, right? Because now the other competition might just step right in. So I don't know. It's very interesting, but they're coming up with all these remedies. Now, the reason why I say that it's really not the biggest deal for Google here is that they actually plan on appealing this situation. So that's the big thing here. Google said that they actually plan to appeal the ruling, but the funny part is that Google must wait until he finalizes a remedy before doing so. Now, this is where it's kind of funny, okay? The appeals court could take as long as 5 years, predicts George Hay, a law professor at Cornell University. So I found that very interesting. It could end up taking 5 years anyways. So very interesting situation going on here with Google with this whole antitrust case. But nonetheless, it could end up taking 5 years. So I don't know. It definitely had a negative move, though, in the short term. And looking at Google's price action, this double top and rejection around 168 to 170 is huge. To me, it's actually making for a good risk-reward situation in the short term, where you could have potentially had stops around like that 168 to 170 mark and maybe targeting, you know, somewhere under 160, maybe like 157, 155 over the next few days. But even for the scalpers out there, keep this one on the radar. It's been rejecting off resistance. We might see a few more red days here as maybe it comes down to test like that 155 next upcoming support. But very interesting news with Google, and I figured we had to cover it because it seemed a little misleading. You know, it might end up getting drug out for like 5 years before we really get any more huge news with it. One other big thing that came out today was the FOMC minutes decision, which actually released at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And while we're on that topic, we'll actually look at the schedule for tomorrow really quickly here. So we had the FOMC minutes today at 2 p.m. Eastern, for tomorrow, we do actually have the CPI inflation rate coming out as well. That's going to be huge. They're looking for the year-over-year inflation rate to drop a bit down to like 2.3% from 2.5%. So keep that situation on the radar closely. Anytime inflation data comes out, it's huge because it can influence what the Federal Reserve does. But getting into what kind of happened with the Federal Reserve today, the minutes came out for their previous FOMC meeting. And there's a lot of different things here that they ended up talking about. So firstly, they all agreed on rate cuts. The big thing between all the members here was really the pace at which the rate cuts are coming, right? Several participants really wanted a 25 basis point reduction, while others wanted a 50 basis point reduction in that rate. So I found that to be interesting. And of course, don't forget, Michelle Bowman was one of the first times a Fed governor has dissented since 2015, as she actually went against them, saying that she would have preferred a quarter point. So I found that to be a little bit interesting there as well. But looking at this situation overall, really, the big deal is that the data helps cement expectations that the Fed is in the early days of an easing cycle. The big thing here, though, is that future cuts might not be as aggressive as what they were in September. So we might not be expecting any more 50 basis point cuts coming from the Feds right now. And also, I saw the jobs data had actually done pretty well since that cut came in as well. Payrolls increased, and then the unemployment rate dipped to 4.1% also. So that's another thing that might make them not as aggressive, so to say. But whenever we talk about the Federal Reserve, I mean, they have implications across the entire market. You know, of course, what they do ends up impacting mortgages, tech stocks get impacted, banks. I mean, pretty much everything gets impacted whenever the Federal Reserve does rate cuts. And so far, through this rate cut cycle, the SPY has been performing very well with those brand new all-time highs today. So kudos to the market and kudos to SPY for continuing this amazing 2024 here. And whenever we talk about 2024, something that we usually like to bring up is seasonality. So I figured we'd look at the October seasonality during election years, and this is pretty insane. So these are weekly candles on the SPY chart from October 1st to the election day. So this is very interesting, and you can tell that right now we're in the second week of October. The second week of October is historically pretty red over the past couple of election cycles, right? That's pretty bad. There hasn't really been any situation over the past few cycles where it had been green. Same thing with the the fourth week. I find that extremely interesting as well there. The fourth week on this data set shows that, you know, historically that week is pretty red also. And it's interesting. These weeks kind of line up pretty well as they go. But I just thought it was some interesting seasonality. Of course, the SPY always has a mind of its own, kind of like it does right now, hitting brand new all-time highs. Each year is going to be different, and who knows, maybe the market's already priced in who's going to win the election. I have no idea, but nonetheless, this is the data that we're seeing for October, so keep that in the back of your minds. But, you know, looking at the heat map for today, it was pretty green overall, of course, with the SPY making new highs like it did. Some big levels for the SPY for tomorrow are the all-time high today, very close to 578. It was right around 577.70. If we can re-break that tomorrow, 580 will be on watch. That's going to be the next major whole dollar psychological resistance overhead. As far as supports go, 575, the previous high, is going to be amazing. There was a wick touching there, so watch that for support, along with 573, 571 to 570, and then 568 for tomorrow. If we get lower than that, that's going to be one hell of a turnaround. But those are the SPY levels for today. And with that, I think that we are all set and ready to go for some plays and action for tomorrow. And with my first setup, I'm actually looking at Peloton here to the upside. Peloton had a pretty good move this morning, up 3%. I'm really looking for this momentum to continue in the short term. It would be huge to test and break $5 here over the next couple of days. So I'm still just watching Peloton in the short term. I want to see some good momentum with this. It could even be a candidate for a swing trade. Peloton has been stuck down here for a long time in the dumps. It's towards the lower end or middle portion of its recent range, and I'm really looking for that push above 5 towards those recent highs around that 520 to 525 mark. So keep Peloton on the radar for the next couple of days. With my next play, I'm looking at SPY and any SPY variant. If you want, I found an ETF called SPXL, which follows SPY to the upside. It was up 2% today. This could be something to look at. It's a 3x leverage ETF, so it moves a bit more than the SPY itself. But with how much good price action happened with the SPY in the middle of the day today, how could we not watch SPY for tomorrow? If we see another continuation and break of that 578 mark, some of the SPY options could be amazing for scalping opportunities. Now, of course, go into these trades with smart trading habits. Make sure you have a good plan in place, stop losses in place, targets. Of course, just keep everything on the up and up with these day trades and scalps. We don't want people to make any silly mistakes out there and end up costing you money or anything like that. But I am looking at that 578 break for tomorrow. With that out of the way, with the momentum plays for tomorrow, we have some good ones here. CCL ended up exploding today. This one's an awesome stock. They're breaking out above $20. If they can break above $20.50 tomorrow, then keep watching them to the upside. With the next setup, I'm looking at ticker symbol AI to the upside as well. They were up 6.75% today. They have a ton of momentum. If they can break 26.30, watch AI to the upside as well. And with the final momentum play of the day, we're looking at ARM in both directions. Ticker symbol ARM. It was up 3.36% today. It's right around that 149 to 150 mark. If it can break 149 tomorrow, watch for a move higher. Be careful of 150, but I feel like we could even end up breaking 150, considering that the SPY in the market is making new highs as well. Now, if ARM does end up falling down and pulls back below 145, then watch it back to the downside. But with how much the market ripped, I'm leaning slightly to the upside for tomorrow. But those are the momentum plays, CCL, AI, and ARM. Watch those levels. If we see breaks, then watch those to the upside. And one thing I did forget about today, roast me in the comments if you want to. I forgot about the earnings calendar, but looking at it now, Tilray reports tomorrow before open, along with Delta Airlines. Those are two pretty interesting stocks. Tilray, of course, is a wild mover in the marijuana sector. Delta has been going crazy with a lot of these airlines lately. So Delta could be extremely interesting if they end up gapping up and other airlines have a positive move with them. As well, on Friday, we also have the big banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and BlackRock, all reporting before the market opens on Friday. So be ready for that as well. But I think that we're actually ready to get right into today's $3.5 million momentum play. And it's on ticker symbol PENN. And guys, it sounds funny to say that because Mike says it so much. You know what I mean? Sometimes these things just are a little bit different. But Penn Gaming, coming in here with the $3.5 million play. The big money ended up picking up the 20 strike calls here of Penn Gaming. And Penn Gaming has actually been stuck here for quite a while. There's been a lot of previous big money plays on Penn as well. Some of them expiring actually within just a week or two. But the 20 strike calls here are very interesting to me. Now, the 20 strike is a little bit out of the money, so that's one fear. $20 is also a huge resistance. So that is one fear here. Maybe somebody selling covered calls at that $20 strike. But Penn is bouncing right in the middle of the range. We're seeing a lot of stocks start to break out here in the short term, and Penn has also been stuck here for a long time. At some point, Penn's going to start to move away from this range, and I would say it's towards the end of this overall pattern. I do like the support around 18 to 1850. As long as that keeps holding up in the short term, I think that this big money play could end up being fantastic. Just remember, it's a long-term play. This expires on April 17th of 2025. So, if you're not going to give this play time, you're not really even following the big money play correctly. So if you're going to follow this play, make sure you give it the time it needs. It expires in a long time, and there is a lot of money in this too. That doesn't mean you need to put a lot of money in this play, though. Just keep it normal, keep your risk tolerance right, and of course, do not over leverage. Sometimes you have to give these big money plays a little bit more leeway, which might mean extending your stop out slightly further than what you're used to, especially if you're a scalper. Getting into a longer term play like this can be a lot different for you. So think about that as you enter into some of these setups. But I do like the Penn big money play. I'm a big fan of Penn Gaming. It would be interesting to see Penn maybe get acquired or something like that over the next year to couple years. But we'll see if maybe some of the bigger players decide to come in and get a deal finalized or not. But it's time for our member of the day. And with our member of the day today, we're going with Hazardin. Great post today. Decent swing so far on some Affirm call options. You're up 234% on that one right now. That's pretty insane. So great swing trade there, Hazardin. Definitely appreciate you posting that up. And of course, thanks to everybody who posts up in the Profits channel. If you want to become member of the day, just head into the StockedUp Discord server and post up in the Profits here. There's always some good ones just about every single day. Serve came in with some nice ones with Palantir today as well. But if you guys are interested in the StockedUp community and the Discord server, the bots, swing plays, everything that we have to offer, check out the links in the description down below. Join the Discord. Consider checking out the trading floor where you can get all the surge bot plays, hybrid bot, and all the new updates that are coming soon. Trust me, you guys are going to love these updates. There's a little beta test going on right now, and over the next couple weeks to a month, they all should be starting to release here gradually. So let's go. But other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Continue to watch the market in the short term. SPY's at new all-time highs. We have a huge CPI event 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow. So keep that on the radar. That'll probably impact price action quite a bit. If you picked one day to wake up early, tomorrow is probably the one. But yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed. And other than that, have a fantastic night and stay safe out there with the hurricane.